The following presentation is brought to you by kmmedia.pro. Please visit kmmedia.pro for more information. Now stay right where you are as we present... Welcome to Positive Talk Radio, evolving ideas, one conversation at a time. Great guests, dynamic stories and interviews, plus new thoughts on a wide range of topics and concepts. I hope that you'll hang with me, Kevin McDonald, my friends, and of course, you. As together we work to understand why we are all here and what we can do to make our world a better place for all of us. To be happy, be kind, and live in peace together. Yep, that's Positive Talk Radio. And welcome everybody to a Wednesday afternoon version of Positive Talk Radio. My name is Kevin McDonald, and I'm your host here on KKNW for the next hour. And Eric, we have got a great show today.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I know. By the way, is it going to be 94 again tomorrow?
That's what they're saying. Yeah, we do have a heat advisory in effect till tomorrow afternoon, but then it's going to cool down a bit over the weekend.
That's cool. Now, I just want to, as a public service, I want to make sure that everybody's aware that your fur friends, your animals, your dogs, your kitties do not belong in a car when it's this hot at any time. But make sure that you take them with you and you don't leave them in the car at all, because it could get up when it's 94 degrees in 5 minutes flat. It can get up to about 120 degrees. And that's just not good for your animal, and don't forget your children in the back seat either. So those are just as a public service announcement. We just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that, so that nothing bad happens, and that and your animals are well taken care of. And it's interesting that I'm talking about animals, because we have a young lady here with us. She is calling all the way from Key West. Is it Key West, Florida?
I'm in Marathon, which is just about 50 miles north, so right in the middle.
So she is right in the middle of a bunch of islands where it's a tropical paradise, and she can go scuba diving and snorkeling and all that kind of stuff. And did you do any of that?
I mostly stay on land with the dogs, believe it or not.
I can understand that.
I love the beach, and I love to swim, but that's about it. I just enjoy it from the beach.
Oh, very nice. Now, Karen Thomas is an animal communicator. She's also was a registered nurse for 30 years. She's an intuitive healer and a best-selling author. And she has a book, a chapter in the book of Behind the Power. Is that correct? You have both of them?
Yes. The first book was released last October, the initial book. And I have a chapter in that, spoke at the event last year. And this year I also have a chapter, and I'm also going to be speaking in October.
And that is Behind the Power. It is a program that Allison Roberts puts on. It's October 19th through the 21st. Go to AllisonRoberts.com and you can find out all the information you need about attending either virtually or in person this particular conference. It's going to be 3 days. It's going to be really good, and I think it is certainly worth your time. As a matter of fact, we had Allison on last week, and she also has another program that started today, which is called Painless Pivots to Power. And we actually had several people sign up from the show. So that was really cool.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yes, it is. Now, you do, in your animal work, you do something very interesting and very unusual, and I applaud it greatly. Can you tell us how you work with animals and how you help senior animals mostly, or sick animals? And how do you help them?
Yeah. So, and thank you for the promo you put together, your media department. It was, I was just so touched when I saw that, because the visuals really show what I do. So I love working with shelter dogs. The homeless dog population has been my niche since I was 7 years old. I started going to shelters and connecting with the dogs. And, over the years, I've noticed in all of my volunteer work that a common reason for somebody surrendering an animal, unfortunately, is old age, illness, a medical condition that they can't afford. And it's really heartbreaking, because, people, you could have had an animal for 10 years and then right at the end, the most beautiful point in their life, like at the end, the golden years, they get surrendered. And it was just so heartbreaking. So I had always dreamed of, I would like to collect all of these dogs, especially the big ones. So the hardest to adopt out of a shelter are large dogs, dogs with medical issues, end of life, that sort of thing. And I like to take that particular population and pull them out of the shelter and bring them to the sanctuary that I created here called Peyton's Promise Sanctuary, and just give them the absolute best end of life care that they can possibly have. So I incorporate my medical history, my career of, with nursing into their medical needs. So I can handle pretty much anything that's given to me medication wise. And then I'll combine that with my absolute love of animals, and it's just such compassionate work, and give them I'm a really soft place for them to land and feel safe and know that they can live out their days here with so much love and so much respect.
And big dogs, one of the issues that they have a lot of are hip problems.
Yeah, hip dysplasia is very common. Yes, arthritis, hip dysplasia, and the larger the dog, the shorter their lifespan generally. So some dogs can, they don't live very long, and it happens fast. Illnesses do happen 7 times faster in dogs than they do in humans. It's like, 1 year is 7 years. That's the rate of how quickly cancers come up and tumors grow. I mean, it just seems like things can happen overnight, and it literally happens a lot faster with them.
I lost one of my favorite dogs. His name was Crockett, and I lost him at 8 years old because he had stomach cancer, and they said had grown to the size of like a softball in a short period of time. Is that possible?
Yeah, it's incredible how fast the cells turn over. Again, the cells turn over 7 times faster. So just think at how fast everything's reproducing, whether it's healthy cells or cancer cells. It just, things really turn over really quickly. Yeah, and that's a large tumor.
And they told me that they could take the tumor out, and that might buy him 6 months or so. Is all it would give him. Is that also true?
Well, it depends on the situation. Every dog is different. Every animal responds differently. The vets, in my experience, the veterinarians are amazing at what they do, and they give it their best guess based on what they have experienced. So it's really hard to give a time to human or animal. It's really, because I've seen dogs, I have several clients that were given so many months to live, and here we are 2-3 years later, and they're still going really strong with simple removal, excision of a tumor. So it just depends on the extent, the age, the underlying health issues. Yeah, there's a lot of factors that can go into that.
I really applaud your work, because most of the time people they want the early parts of life. They want the puppy. They want the young dog that's vibrant and alive, and you tend to gravitate towards the older, the infirmed, and you do that for a specific reason. Why is that?
Well, I love that stage of life. There's so much. Don't get me wrong. I love puppies. They are a lot of work. But the older dogs, and I noticed this too with my animal communication and connection. It's just, there is an incredible amount of wisdom that comes with age. I mean, they love unconditionally from the moment they're born. They live in the present moment from the moment they're born. So they carry that through. And remember, everything is like multiplying 7 times the speed. So by the time they get into their senior years, they have these stories to tell, and they've had so much experience, and there's so much gratitude. Puppies are amazing, but they're just learning the world. So everything's a big question mark, and they're curious. And I mean, I hear great things from them too. But the seniors really have my heart, and that energy level is beautiful. And if they want to sleep all day, I think that's amazing. I give them a really beautiful, we have kennels, we have a sofa, we have carpets everywhere, soft music, essential oils diffusing. It's just that age is, it's just so beautiful to me.
Now, you currently, at least last time we talked, you
Mhm.
had a big old guy that you
Yes,
were working with. What's his name and what's he
yes.
about?
Yeah. So his name is Bubas or Bubas, the Hispanic pronunciation, which I call him. So when I talked to you a couple weeks ago, I had just gotten him and he was in his. So I did a video on the rule of threes. And I don't know if you've ever heard of the 3-3-3 rule of bringing an animal into your home. So
Remind me.
there are general loose milestones that dogs can go through in the first 3 days, in the first 3 weeks, and then in 3 months. So the first 3 days is like they can be completely shut down. They're not sure where they are. They're not sure why they're there. They don't know me, they don't know you, that sort of thing. So it can be anything from really quiet and hiding to acting out. And then after about 3 weeks, you'll start to see the personality come out. Like once they feel safe in the routine and there's a trust relationship built between the two of you, they'll start to kind of show their true colors. And people will say, wow, he or she is developing behavior problems. And I have to remind my clients, no, that's his true personality. He wasn't showing it to you in the beginning. And then after 3 months, they really feel safe. They're settled into the home and they know that, look, we're not going anywhere. This is my permanent home now. And they can really settle in and integrate into the home. So when we first talked about Boobas, we were still in phase 1, and that was the first 72 hours. And I referred to him as a manatee walrus cross because he was very slow.
Yeah.
And he slept pretty much the first 72 hours and he would wake up when I had to do something with him and then go right back to sleep. And he didn't eat, he drank fine, so I wasn't concerned. He didn't have an appetite. And he just moved at the rate of molasses. Well, now we are at just over 2 weeks, and his personality is coming out, and he is so funny. He's slightly faster. He discovered squeaky toys. I don't think he's ever had toys before. He's not sure. He's like an old toddler. He's not sure what's appropriate and what's not. So he tries to put everything in his mouth. Like if I carry a big stack of towels or blankets in for laundry, he'll want to know if that's a toy. So he's learning his environment. He's learning what's appropriate. He knew absolutely nothing, manners or commands. So we've been working on sit, and he's catching on to that. And I could just see him transforming. We've had about 4 baths so far, and I give him a massage every day, and I put a special salve on his skin, and I just take really good care of him. And I can see him like just everything. He's blossoming. He's starting to redistribute weight in a healthy way. His energy level is coming up. He's getting really peppy and excited for his walks. And it's just incredible to see him blooming. And what looked like a 9 or 10-year-old dying dog in Miami-Dade shelter has actually turned out to be, my vet thinks, he's more like a 6-year-old dog who may not have serious medical problems, which is fantastic. So he may be my mascot for a while.
That's really cool that
Yeah.
you're able to kind of save him from the life that he had, which was not good. I can't imagine what it would be like to be a puppy and to go to what you think is your forever home, and you're there for a number of years, and then you get turned over into the shelter, and because you're an animal communicator, and this is why I'm asking this question, you can actually talk to them in regards to their fears and all of that. And so they go from a home that they thought that was their forever home and the people that they loved, and then they're no longer there. Then they're in this shelter, and
Yeah.
it's scary because they don't know what to expect next because their whole world got pulled away from them.
Yeah, their whole world got pulled away from them and they're grieving. I mean, that was their family. That was, even if this is the part that's really, this is what breaks a lot of people's hearts. It broke mine in the beginning, but I understand it. Even if they are abused, neglected, emotionally, physically, whatever, they still love that person unconditionally. It's crazy to believe, but they still, because they don't have our human ego filter or that type of thing. So even if somebody beat the crap out of a particular dog and that dog was taken away by law enforcement or whatever, that dog will still grieve the loss of that person because that was his person. And that's how loyal and dedicated and amazing they are. So a lot of the work that I've done over the years in my volunteer work, and I still work with our county shelter here locally, I've done a lot of trauma releasing on them. There's an emotional freedom technique. It's a tapping technique on
Sure.
meridian points on the body. I've been trained in that on humans as well as animals. It's just as effective with animals. And boy, did I have to do a lot of tapping on animals just to get them to, I would, so I would have my own little orientation when they came in the first day, or as soon as I can get my hands on them on new admissions at the shelter, I would take them and, first of all, tell them they're safe, let them know exactly where they are, why they're here, and they did nothing wrong. Like, it's really important to let them know it's not their fault, it's for their safety. And I love to give everyone a bath when they first come in because I'm doing several different things. I'm giving them a massage. Okay, so I'm getting the circulation going. I'm also simultaneously doing energy work and just kind of like, massaging their acupressure points and just making sure they're getting balanced and directing energy through their paws and just having that conversation that, look, we are all safe and this is your place to heal. Like this is your place to heal for getting ready for the next phase of your life, whatever that looks like. And I tell them that their contract was up with that human or that family, and it wasn't your fault. And you served them well. And whatever lessons they learned from you, they learned. And now they have to move on to the next thing. And now you can go and teach and give your love to another family who's going to be even more amazing.
Karen, there are people that are listening in our audience that are driving up and down I-5 or wherever they're trying to get home to, and they're saying, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You're talking to a dog? You're having a conversation with a dog? What is it's a dog. It's just a dumb animal. What are you now that's not my opinion, but
I,
that is
I,
the opinion of some people that are listening to this program. And first of all, I implore you to change your opinion. But secondly, what you are an animal communicator, so you have one step above being able to talk to the animal. You can actually have a communication with them and a conversation, right?
right, right. So I get my information through a lot of different ways, but for me, I see it as pictures, like a movie in my head. They'll show me like a movie in my head. I'll hear words, I'll feel things in the body, or I'll just have a feeling about something. Like if they're having problems with their right hip, I'll get a pain that shoots through my right hip, and I know it's not me. Um, and I just know, like sometimes I just know. But it is, yes, there are skeptics. And when I was going through training, we had to do a lot of free sessions and just to get the feedback. And just time and time again, the dog would tell me things that there was just no way that I could guess, details. Like my favorite toy is a pink bunny rabbit and it has the tail is chewed off, like things like that. So even I was a little skeptical in the beginning. I thought, am I really getting this? Am I just hearing things, or am I really seeing this? Is this true? And then their human would say, yeah, that's accurate. That is accurate. So it had to happen for me too. I mean, it had to happen hundreds. I had to go through hundreds and hundreds of sessions and to get the feedback of the accuracy to say, okay, I am confident in what I'm hearing and knowing and feeling and seeing to say that with a pretty good certainty that this is how the animal is feeling and what the animal is trying to tell me.
So as you grew up in this, you began to trust yourself
Exactly.
and trust
Yeah.
what you were hearing. By the way, we're talking with Karen Thomas, and if you would like to talk to her today on the radio, if you've got a pet, either living or past, or a dog or a cat that's sick or has got problems, you can give us a call, and she might be able to help you with that. So I'll put out the numbers here, and Eric will pick up the phone when you call 425-373-5527 or 888-298-5569. So give us a call, 425-373-5527, because she's a remarkable lady. She's got a sanctuary now. She's got, and you are really, really passionate about this, aren't you?
I am. I am. This, I, like you said, I was doing traditional nursing for 30 years, and I worked in hospitals and with humans. And at the end of the day, I always came home and my dogs were my comfort. On the weekends, I was at the shelters giving like that was my passion. That was my absolute passion. And not that it wasn't gratifying working with humans. It's just different. It's a whole different ball game.
We
So
get we get cranky easily.
yeah, that's right. I know all about that.
And when we're old and we're tired and we're cranky, we can be really cranky.
Yes. And the patient is always right and we are always wrong. And we just have to suck it up and placate and placate and placate. And yeah.
Oh, that'd be awful.
But when I started transitioning from traditional Western medicine into more holistic approaches, I discovered an actual program called, I was taking Healing Touch for Humans. I was right at my certification level for that. And I realized that there was an actual school for Healing Touch for animals. So I quickly jumped tracks. I just changed directions. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what I wanted. And I went through that. And that was a very structured course. I got my certification in that. It's like Reiki, but it's moving of energy and it involves animal communication and all sorts of amazing modalities. Very structured. It has a scope of practice, a standard of care. Healing Touch for Humans is actually incorporated in hospitals nationwide, which is amazing. There's a lot of cancer treatment centers which utilize it. So anyway, there's the one for dogs that I took for animals, excuse me. So I got my certification in that. And we practiced on everything, cows, horses, cats, dogs, I mean, you name it. Like I can work on pretty much any animal, snakes, anything. And then
Stay away from snakes.
Stay away from snakes. Yeah. My passion since I was a little girl was I love all animals. I really, really do. But the dogs I connected with dogs. They stole my heart. So that's what I'm focusing on. And again, there's a huge Miami-Dade Animal Services. There's over 400 adoptable dogs right now. So there's probably closer to 600 dogs in the facility. And when I went up there last month because I'm on their rescue partner team, I went to introduce myself to the coordinators. And I said, look, right now, I'm just a tiny sanctuary. I can only take 2 or 3 dogs. And she said, yeah, but you want the most difficult ones. So we love that about you. Like you want, give me the oldest one, the sickest one, the one that's been there the longest, just the most unpretty one. I'll just say it, the ones that get overlooked. The girl I'm getting next week, you look at her picture, she's a German Shepherd, a senior German Shepherd, eye conditions, ear conditions, mammary tumors, arthritis. She's got a whole medical list, and her ears have old hematomas in them, so they just flop, and she's crusty. And I looked at her and I'm like, you are perfect just off of her picture. So the plan is to get her, if she's healthy enough to get spayed. I think she's on the OR list for tomorrow, if I believe I'm correct. And then I'll go pick her up on Tuesday, let her recover for a few days, and she'll be part of the pack.
That is simply amazing. And
Yeah.
that's why on Wednesdays we like to do Angels Among Us. And you are clearly an angel among us that is here to help animals, especially when they get closer to what we call the Rainbow Bridge or to crossing over.
Right.
And what's that like for you? Because you know, I saw this is audio, so people in their cars cannot see your face. But
Okay.
when we start talking about your big old fellow that's at home, you lit up and you smiled ear to ear, and you're really pleased to be able to help these guys
Yeah.
and these gals and to get through the trouble they've got. And it seems like the more complex the situation, the higher your degree of empathy and wanting to help. Is that fair?
It directly correlated. Absolutely. Because even the staff agreed at when I said, I want to look at Bubis. I want to meet him. And they're like, really? I said, yep. Because he was sitting in the corner. He was dripping with infection. His eyes were goopy. His ears were goopy. His skin has lumps, bumps, warts, nodules, you name it. Just everything all over his skin. I said, him, yes. And I fell in love with him immediately. And he's just made I'm smiling ear to ear because I'm so proud of him. He has had such a turnaround in 2.5 weeks. It's unbelievable. It's just, he's a whole different dog. And, I love to take those. I like to take the unpretty ones because it's the ones that have the most issues, because I know that they won't stand a chance. They have a very slim chance, but I know that their soul is perfect and beautiful. And even if they only have one day to live, I want that. I want that dog, and I want to make it the best 24 hours. Like, I just giving them their best last day is one of my specialties. And I do it with my own dogs. I do it with the sanctuary dogs, and I've been doing it with the shelter dogs for quite a while, because I believe that transitioning into the next realm is a very it's an honor, it's a rite of passage, and I believe that no animal should die alone, if possible, even if it's just they're too weak to do anything. Even if I can just hold them and let them know, acknowledge their presence in this world, and let them know that they mattered and that they were loved and that they were safe, and that they're safe and supported, and they can move on to their next journey.
By the way, we're talking with Karen Thomas. She is a registered nurse, an animal communicator, an intuitive healer, and she works with geriatric dogs who are near the end. And I want to ask you about a program that you use, which is to really create a best last day for the dog. And we need to take a break. But when we come back, we are going to talk about that. And you're going to tell us the steps that you take to make someone's last day worth living, if that's even possible. Well, we'll be right back. Stay with us. You're listening to KKNW 1150 AM. This is Positive Talk Radio. My name is Kevin McDonald, and we'll be right back.
Do you believe in the combination of brain work and spirituality? Her grace and sense of humor have made Allison Roberts highly sought after. She's a cognitive behavioral expert with natural intuition. Allison has guided thousands of people all over the world to find their internal power. Visit ALLYSONROBERTS.com for your free guided meditation today.
My name is Kevin McDonald, and I created Positive Talk Radio on KKNW 1150 AM. And if you like what we're doing here, evolving ideas one conversation at a time, we have so much more to offer you on positivetalkradio.net. Over 160 podcasts and growing. Great positive guests and many thoughts and ideas designed to help you and your family live life just a little bit better. You can even contribute to our work by becoming a member and receiving lots of cool stuff. Please check it out. I created PTR because now's the time for positive change, and nothing else matters. Again, visit positivetalkradio.net, and thanks for listening.
When you want to say more than words communicate, You can with flowers. Your custom boutique floral studio in Bothell, Washington is anaturaldesign.com, connecting you to nature through the language of flowers. Where your people are is where our flowers are beautiful. Your success is our goal. Now through New Year's Eve, here's your exclusive bonus for being our appreciated listener. Type in promo code Positive Talk Radio at checkout to receive $20 off your order. Our gift to you for being here with us today. anaturaldesign.com.
Have you ever said, how did I do this again? Want to create your own powerful life? Well, Allison Roberts can help resolve the issues that keep repeating by creating a new outcome. She is one of the top 100 coaches in the world and will help you achieve your dreams. Email her at allison@allisonroberts.com or visit allisonroberts.com and receive a free guided meditation and discover all of her ongoing programs and events. And welcome back, everybody, to Positive Talk Radio here on KKNW, 1150 AM. It's a fine radio station, and I hope you will hang with us for the rest of the time. We're talking with Karen Thomas, who also, by the way, has a friend. Her name is Allison Roberts, and she is one of the 100 top coaches in the world. She's going to be doing a program in October called Behind the Power. And Karen, would you like to talk about that just a minute before we talk about a pet's best last day?
Yeah, Behind the Power is going to be a super empowering, inspiring, amazing 3 days of 13 plus wonderful speakers. We're all sharing our stories, and we have breakout rooms planned this year. And it's going to be very different than last year. It's going to be more interactive. We have panel discussions. It's a fabulous hotel, a little boutique hotel in Buckhead, Georgia, in downtown Atlanta. And I'm super excited for it.
And they even have a swimming pool on the roof.
Yes, it would have to be very, very much heated for me in October. But yes, they do.
You have to understand, this is Seattle. In October, it's 50 and, and stuff. So, but in any event, I wanted to make sure that we got that out about her and the program, because I think it's going to be really good. Because I've interviewed like most of the coaches and speakers for the event. There were people that a couple years ago, Karen, and you know them better than me. A couple of years ago, one gal was in bed watching television 20 hours a day. And she wasn't getting up. She wasn't doing anything. Now she is speaking at an event and going to be in front of hundreds of people. It really is a stark reminder of what we are capable of if we get the right guidance and the right coaching and are in the right environment. And so I'm really pleased to be part of it.
Absolutely. I mean, I was terrified of public speaking a couple of years ago, terrified. And now with, amazing coaching and support and practice and the mindset work, it's like, okay, we can do this.
That's right. And now you're on the radio in Seattle talking to millions, and I dare say millions of people at the same time.
And I could talk about dogs all day long. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, to turn to a little bit more serious topic, we're all going to have our last day. Every one of us gets the opportunity or the reality that one day is going to be our last day. Mm-hmm. And most of us don't get the opportunity to have what you've termed your best last day. How do you help a dog transition over and have his last day be one of his best days?
So every case is different, as we know. If there's a tragic loss, that can't be planned. But if there is a euthanasia coming up with the shelter dogs, I would ask permission, and they know me by now. They know that I do this. That I'll actually talk to the animal, see what their state of health is, try to get an idea of what their favorite things were, have been, and if they're strong enough, we'll do that. So I'll just give you an example, and I use this example a lot. This is a favorite story. I like to tell. So several years ago, somebody brought in an old, she was probably about 13 years old, really, really skinny boxer, and she had tumors everywhere. And she could bear, I mean, she was so emaciated. Well, she had been used her whole life for breeding, and they were done with her because they couldn't breed her anymore. So they surrendered her. And obviously, she was end of life with all of her tumors and cancer and whatnot. So I gave her a bath. I got her all settled into the shelter, and I had my little routine with her. And the next day they took her to the vet and they said, yes, we recommend euthanasia. So I said, can we have our day? So they put it off for another day. And I communicated with her. And she told me that she was never given the attention in her life that her puppies always got. Like she was just pumping out puppies and they got all the attention. And then she was bred again and the cycle continued. And she was never given that attention that she had craved. And she had mentioned the word, she showed me a crown and she mentioned, I heard the word princess. So I decided to throw her a princess party the next day in honor of her true princess spirit, because deep down she was a princess. So the next day, I brought in homemade pancakes because she had like no teeth left. So we did mushy food for breakfast. I actually that evening I painted her toenails pink, so she was ready to go after her bath. I put her in a pink thunder shirt, which is a shirt that goes around the body and Velcros. It kind of gives them a hug. Because I knew I was taking her out in public, I didn't want anyone to see her body and pity her because that's a really bad energy. So we covered that up. We put a bandana on her, and it was a really nice day. And she was enough to walk. She was peppy enough to walk. And I kind of just telepathically connected with her. And instinctually, I heard that she wanted to go to the beach. So I took her to the beach and she like galloped down the beach like a middle-aged dog. I couldn't believe where she got this energy from. It was amazing. It was just a short burst of energy. She had so much fun. Even had angel wings on, fairy wings on her back. We lost them on the beach, but that's okay. And then after that, I took her to our local health food store and we got a strawberry smoothie and she drank some of that. She was lapping that up. She thought that was fun. And I pranced her up and down the little in front of the shops there. And she was getting so much love and compliments. And there was strangers were saying, "Oh, happy birthday." And we were just letting it be what it was. And we were whatever they wanted to say to her, we were celebrating. She was so happy. And that afternoon, we planned euthanasia for about 5 p.m. That was the end of the day. So we got her undressed and I laid down with her on a blanket and I had music on and I had my oils and I was just kind of massaging her and holding her paw. And I'm telling you, with the sedation alone, I don't even think the euthanol touched her. I mean, I think she transitioned so fast and so peaceful, and she literally had a smile on her face as she transitioned into the next realm. It was beautiful. Like it was like the one thing that she wanted.
I'm just amazed. Do you understand how rare you are?
I would love to say that I'm not, because I would love to know that this happens other places. But sadly, maybe yes, I am rare. But it just brings me so much joy.
And the other thing that I wanted to say is that she was a breeder for 12 or 13 years, and she gave them lots and lots of puppies who they turned into lots and lots of cash. And when she could no longer provide the cash,
yes,
then they threw her out
yes,
basically threw her out on her butt and didn't want to deal with it anymore. If that is if that is you, stop it. That's not appropriate behavior on how to treat somebody that basically has been your employee for all that time, because you didn't.
right. Yeah, if you can't connect with an animal, if you can't have compassion for an animal, don't have pets, please.
Right.
Don't make it your business. Do something else, please.
and if you can't, for whatever reason, if you can't take care of your animal, then think of that ahead of time, and
Yeah.
and don't get that dog or cat, because they are going to worship the ground that you walk on, and to then make them transition into a shelter, and then hopefully get adopted, because a lot of dogs don't get adopted
Right.
out of the shelters either, right?
Right, exactly. And when you bring an animal into your home, you are their whole world. I mean, the humans can go out and work and do all these things, but the animal depends on the human. Like, they are at the mercy of the human, and that is their world. So, yeah.
They sit there for hours and hours on end, sitting there waiting for, when is he coming home? Is he coming home yet?
Hmm.
He's not. When is he coming home?
Hmm.
And then when you get home, they treat you like you are some sort of prince or
Yeah.
princess that is a wonderful person and stuff. Heck, my ex-wife didn't treat me that way, and that's why I had a dog.
Heard.
Exactly. So Karen, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You are very special to be able to do that for a dog. And but I wanted to ask you, since you've been through a lot of this and you give this last day to dogs, what is their opinion? What is their thoughts around transitioning?
Definitely, it's very neutral is the best way I can describe it. They definitely don't have the feelings associated with it that we have. They view it, in my experience, they view it as a very natural part of the life cycle. They don't fear it. Um, and yeah, I'm trying to think back. I can't think of a dog that ever said, "Oh, I wish I had more time. I don't want to go. I don't." There's just a lot of acceptance and surrender to what is in that period, in that state of grace, right? They don't fight it. If there's any, I don't want to say fighting, but if there's anything that's going on with the animal generally, it's because the human is so incredibly distraught that they're losing their animal, that they're reacting to that. They don't want to see their person so sad. But again, I have done this so many times with animals in shelter that we don't have an influence of any other human. It's just us. So with that experience, it's just pure, it's a state of grace. Like, it's accepting, they're grateful, the gratitude that I get from them to be heard and seen. I mean, just like us, we want to be seen, we want to be heard, we want to be acknowledged. And just to let them know, like, just to have that eye contact with them and that touch, and to say that you mattered in this world, you made a difference. Like, thank you for your light. You made a difference. There's so much gratitude.
Do you think that innately deep down they know what's happening, and that they're not scared to go on because they know they will go on?
I think so. I do think so. Because I don't feel that fear attached with anything. Like, it's just, I had a dog tell me one time, it's just like going through a door. Like, I'm here now, and then I'm going to be over there. Like, it was very matter of fact. So they do get it. I believe they understand it, and I believe that, just like us, they have their guardian angels that come in and assist and take them. And they're very sensitive to beings, light beings, angels, masters, and I know they see much more than we do. So I do believe that they know that. They just instinctually know that it's their time.
That really is phenomenal. That they know it and they accept it, and it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very, very natural view. I mean, I wish we can learn from them as humans. I wish we can take some of that just to decrease our fear just a little. I mean, just a little bit. It would be amazing, because we just have so much fear surrounding death.
Yes, we do, and we sanitize it so we don't really ever experience it
Right.
until we get to, and we all are going to get to at one point. Now, I wanted to address something, because you have worked with all kinds of animals,
Mhm.
and there are people that may be listening to this. I'm hoping not, but just in case there is one or two that some people do not believe that animals have souls. How wrong are they?
Oh, so wrong. Yeah, I mean, if they don't, well, it's crazy because they must not, if they don't believe that, they must not have had any pets, because if you have pets, you can clearly see, whether you believe that or not, you can clearly see they have different personalities, right?
Yeah.
So where does that come from? If that's not part of a soul, where what is that? But they very much do. They very, very much have souls. And the animals that come in, our pets that come into our lifetime, in this lifetime, I believe that we have pre-contracted that with them. And it was pre-contracted that they're going to come into our life and to teach us certain lessons. And, we learn from them, they learn from us. And yeah, they're on a mission. They're on a soul growth journey too, just like we are.
I learned just how smart my dog was one time because my parents, for their 50th anniversary, took the entire family to Hawaii, except for the dogs, of course. So I didn't have any, but since the whole family was going, I had no one to leave Crockett with. So we took him to a place for him to stay for a couple of weeks. And we checked it out and made sure it was a nice place. And they assured us it was a nice place and all of that. Well, we go and get him, and he gets in the car and he will not look at me. I tried to say, hi, how are you? He would not talk to me. He would not look at me. He was pissed because I'm the alpha male. I was the head of the troop, and I left him there for 2 weeks, and it took him 2 days to forgive me.
Yeah. It's funny because how much preparation did you give him? Did
Well,
you tell
see,
him?
I didn't know anything at the time. So
Right.
all we did is took him and drop him off rather than sitting him
Yeah.
down and having a dad to son talk
Yeah.
about, we're going to Hawaii and we're going to have a great time, and
Yeah.
I'll send you mental pictures and
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll keep you informed as to our progress. And no, we didn't do that.
Right. So that's why he was just left like, what? No warning, I don't even know where they are. And they just left and nobody gave me any instructions. And how long am I going to be here? So I tell my clients, like, they want to know, they really want to know. And I talk to my dogs out loud. I say, I'm going to the grocery store. I'll be back in an hour. Your job is to just keep the couch warm while I'm gone, and you're safe, and I'll be back. But if I do tell my clients, if you go on vacation, let them know exactly where you're going, how many days you're going to be, who's going to be watching them while you're gone. And then while you're gone, exactly, send them mental postcards, because they'll get it. It's telepathy. They'll get the message. They will get the message.
And I wish I knew then what I know now, because it was completely different.
Yeah.
And it would have changed his life. And the other thing was, we bought food and every time I talk about Crockett, I'm going to tell this story. We bought food from a grocery store. After his passing, I looked at what was in the food. Never thought about looking at what was in the food before, and it had bone meal and other things that you should never feed your animal. And he died at 8 years old of stomach cancer. And so feed your dog well, spend a little bit more money. And if you can't afford, before you get a dog, and if you can't afford to feed them well, don't get your dog. Would that be is that good advice?
That's really good advice. Last time we talked, we said that the whole dog food industry can be a whole podcast in and of itself, because there's some really, really, it's not regulated the way it should be. And there's, like you said, there's parts and from rendering facilities, and, they're getting metabolized euthanasia medications. They're getting ground up cancer tumors and diseased organs and things that an animal should not be consuming. It's just not life sustaining. I mean, it's, like you said, it's probably cancerous. So I highly encourage the healthiest diet you possibly can get them on, because the cost of food is going to save you money in the long run with vet bills. Trust me on that, because cheap food brings all sorts of health issues.
I had to laugh. I have a good friend, and she works with me to do Positive Talk. And by the way, this is Positive Talk Radio. Go to positivetalkradio.net. And you can, by the way, I don't have 160 episodes. I lied. I have 225. And I apologize for that. But I had to laugh because they have this little dachshund, and it was dinner time, and they were thinking, oh, well, there's a salmon here. We'll have this salmon. And the significant other said, no, that's her meal. Then what are we going to eat? I don't care what we eat, but she's having the salmon. And that's and that's the commitment that we all need to make to our fur friends, because they deserve it from us. They give us every ounce of their love every day of their lives, and they deserve to have a good life.
That's right. And I think that's a very valid public service announcement. And I'm glad that you continue to repeat it, because most people don't know. They just think that the industry is regulated and everything is safe for human consumption as well as animal consumption. And it's just not true.
If you listen to this show at any length at all, you know that at one time I was a chicken salesman. And one of the things that happens with chickens when you get done with taking the breasts off and the wings off and the legs off and the feet that actually goes to Asia, believe it or not, then what's left of anything is ground up, and they have a dog food company, and that dog food company sells to Walmart, and it's called Bolo brand. And it's basically just the junk that's left over from the parts and the bones and the fragments and all that stuff. So get food from a reputable pet dealer, and make sure that it is what's good for your dog or cat. And by the way, their coat's going to be better, their energy is going to be better, their so solid poop is going to be better.
Yes, their digestive process is going to be better. Right.
Oh, thank you. I wish I had said it that
way. Same thing.
that would have been much better, because you can always tell them when your dog's not happy or healthy is when his poop is not healthy and happy.
That's right. And thankfully, there's a lot of companies getting on the bandwagon with healthier foods and ingredients. The market is getting competitive, which I love. I love that. So hopefully we can continue educating, and it's easier. Resources are easier to find.
The more we talk about it, the more information gets out there, and people will say, you know what I heard on the radio, and I can guarantee you, I've done some research. It's all true. This is not fake news. This is actually what's going on, and I can prove it. So. But by the way, we're talking with Karen Thomas. I want you to go get on a plane to go to Atlanta, Georgia in October and see her speak. I think it would be a wonderful time. As a matter of fact, she's speaking on narcissism, and we didn't even have a chance to touch on that today.
That's not a fun topic anyway, but yes. As a survivor of narcissistic abuse, I pretty much grew up around them. And I naturally gravitated into those types of relationships, and I was totally unaware that I was unaware. And once I realized it, it's like, whoa. So I've been doing a lot of work and healing from that, and that's been an amazing journey, and I'm so grateful.
You've had quite the life, I have to say.
It's been full.
and you're not gone. You're not done yet. You still have dogs to bathe and to take care of, and to get rid of all of their maladies and stuff, and to give them the best life and the best last day.
Yes, my passion.
It's a beautiful passion, and you live in a beautiful place, and you're doing great work, and I want to thank you for it.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. You should come down and visit us.
Yeah, they got snakes down there. I don't think so.
We're not near the Everglades. You're safe down here.
Okay, but I have to stay inside because I'll burn up if I go outside.
Okay, we have.
I know, like Eric said, there's something called sunscreen.
Yes, we have reef safe sunscreen that will not destroy the reefs down here. So you are perfectly safe.
Well, that's good news. That's always good. We just have a minute left. I want you to be able to say anything that you would like to say to our audience right now.
Well, I think I need to say again to please not give up on your dreams and your passions. It's never too late to start something. Really go for it, because you will find that when you follow your dreams and your passions, your life takes on a whole new direction.
You can say that again. My passion is one of these days I'm going to start a radio show, and I'm going to do that because that's what I'd really like to do. And by the way, I started my first show today was at 10 o'clock this morning. It's 5 o'clock today. I've done like back to back to back to back all day, and I'm still here, doggone it.
And you're still having fun and looking great.
And thank you so much. You're a liar. But have a great day, everybody, and be kind to one another, because each other's all we got. We'll see you Friday. Have a good day.